That time of the year again. We're going to talk some goals.
Hey Rockstars, I'm JB, expert salesperson and master presenter.
I'm the doctor, psychologist, and behavioral expert.
This is the Entrepreneur Mastery Lab podcast.
Welcome to the Entrepreneur Mastery Lab podcast. We are rounding out the end of the year and we are getting ready to launch into 2024. Oh my goodness. Before we get into that, if you guys will just take a second, like, subscribe, share, 5-star rating, all those amazing things that you can please do for our podcast. One of them just came in right now. Don't be late. Make sure you are clicking all those buttons so that we can know what you love about us. And the exciting news, as you might have heard, the new year, new podcast titles coming up. We're going to talk more about that in next week as we round out the year fully. But today, I want to talk about reviewing your year and then setting some goals and intentions for the next year. So as you might see on the screen, goals, yay. Resolutions, bad. Why do I say that? Because when we set resolutions, we're just resolving to do something. Doesn't mean we're actually going to do it. And the data shows that most people that set resolutions without any kind of plan or intention behind it, they fail before February. When I say fail, it's just they don't live up to their expectation of what they're setting for themselves. They don't even make it to February, which is why every month we do the Fresh Start February so people can get a chance to get back started again. And why have we done that for the last few years is because we realize that when you set resolutions, you're not really setting a plan or intention to make any of the actual changes. So that's why we like goals. That's why we like intentions. That's why we like to have some actual planning behind it so that you know what you're working towards and then having a plan on how to get there. So as you're looking at the new year, what would you like to accomplish? First thing you want to do is review what you've done this year. What expectations did you set for yourself in the beginning of the year? And how did you do meeting them? And ideally, you'd want to have met some of those goals. Reality is we're not going to meet all of them that we set. And if we do, that means we probably haven't set enough stretch goals to challenge ourselves to go a little bit farther. So what's the difference? When we first think about goals are these things that we would like to meet, these ideas, these metrics. They could be measurables. You want to have some sort of measurability on it so you know if you're meeting them or not, obviously. But they could be tangible numbers that you can check, or they could be ideas, they could be concepts, they could be progress on something like writing a book, whatever it may be, right? So you want to have something in mind that you can track in some way to see if you've met that goal. That's just part of the process. So looking back at the year, how did you do? Did you set some goals? Did you reach those? Outside of just your tangible goals that you want to reach, you also want to set some stretch goals. These are goals that you are shooting towards that you could reach if you put a lot of effort and attention into that. They would be a big improvement over what you've done in the past, possibly. So that's why we call them stretch. It would be a stretch to get there, but we can. And then I like the third column of like, ain't no way that's going to happen goals. Because they might. And the only way that they might is if you put any kind of attention towards it, that it could be a possibility. So put some of those harder to achieve goals, past even the stretch goals, like your crazy idea goals, and put them down too. Just as something to reach for and to give you some momentum that, hey, this is something I can shoot for. So look back last year, how did you do? Set those things up for this year. And just setting the goal is just part of the process, right? So first thing is you want to have those things that you're achieving for, but we need a process to make that happen. How are we going to do that? This is what differentiates, I think, a lot between goals and resolutions, because now we're going to make some process to make those things happen. And that should be part of this planning system. I have the idea, I have the goal set, and now I need the plan to make it happen. And this is what we should be using this time for. You have a couple more weeks before the end of the year. I know there's going to be some breaks in there, and there's going to be some holiday parties, as there should be. This is a good time to reset your mind as well. We'll talk a little bit more about next week. But how are we looking at these things? How are we taking the time? What intention are we going to put behind these things? What kind of plan are we going to put in place so that we can hit these goals that we're planning to achieve? So it's not just a one-step process. I'm not just resolving to lose weight in the new year or to start a new business or to anything that you guys are thinking of. Increase my sales by 10%. That's what we want to do. We want to have some measurable aspects to it. We want to have some outcomes that we can look at and say, this is where I'm headed, and then a plan to actually make that happen. All right. Probably not saying much that you haven't heard before, especially if you've listened to our podcast. We like to cover this at the end of the year. This is an important topic. But just remember, goals, yay, resolutions, boo. Have a plan, set a goal, keep that intention, and then I guess the key part to all of that is being consistent as you get into it. But you're not alone. We got you. We're always here for you. If you have any questions, you can always slide into those DMs. We love to chat. We love to hear what you're working on. Quick question, we'd be happy to answer it. You can always find us on all our social media, at JB and the Doctor, jbandthedoctor.com. Website has also been revamped and getting ready for a fresh start in the new year. It's already started that way. So if you want to go check it out, let us know what you think. And then finally, I want to hear what your goals are. I want to hear what you guys are coming up with. We want to support you. We're here for you. And then in the new year, you got to support us back with our new name, our new podcast, sharing with all your friends, subscribing, liking. These things are important. It's all part of working together. We're here for you. You can be here for us. And we all win. So set those goals. Send them to me. I want to hear them. JB is dying to hear them. He didn't get to talk about it this year. Let us know what you're doing, and we'll see you on the other side. Enjoy those holiday parties. If you're in South Florida, I hope to see you this weekend at the Winterfest Boat Parade. We also people at Children's Harbor. We're going to raise some money for those kids. So hopefully I'll see you there. Peace out, yo.